This is Confessions on TV3. My name is Miss Nancy, and tonight she came all the way from Obuasi, and she wants to tell her story. She just wants to share it so that she can start her healing process, and also use this opportunity to have us help her find her birth mother, whom she's not seen since she was 3 years old. This is a story you'll need to hear. Just for communication purposes, I prefer to call our guest tonight Belle. Belle, you're welcome to Confessions.
Thank you.
Hi, so it's good to have you. You came all the way from Obuasi.
Yes, please.
Tell us your story.
Okay, so I was born at Aflao. That's according to the news source I had. I was born at Aflao.
Okay.
Taken away from my mom at the age of 3 by my dad to my dad's family side.
Okay.
It hasn't been easy with him, not with the family, but with him personally.
Your dad in particular?
Yes, my dad in particular. It wasn't easy because he's no more, so it's a past tense. When he took me to my grandmom's place, we lived as a family, and I was sleeping with him in the same room. But what was going on in that room wasn't something I was sharing it to any family member of mine. So it was a secret between me and him. Until one day my grandpa came to meet us in the arts.
Okay, so things were happening between you and your birth father.
Yes.
And what were these things?
We were having sex, and it wasn't my intention. He forced me to do it.
Your father was having sex with you. At what age do you recall this commencing?
Okay, so the sexual assault started when I was 3 years old. My first...
3 years? 3 years?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. You're still a toddler?
Yes.
Okay.
So that was my first encounter with him.
He actually penetrated your body at 3 years?
No. For the first time, he used a cream and the fingers. So that was what he was doing. So we moved from where my mom is to Obuasi. That was when he started using his thing.
Wow. So he started abusing you with his hands?
Yes.
Until you were, at what age did he start?
Around 7 years old.
Then he started having penetrative sex with you?
Not actually penetrated, just the surface.
He was rubbing at 6 years.
Yes.
He was rubbing the surface of your body, but he was not penetrating.
Yeah, and forcing me to do blowjob and all that.
At 6 years?
That's what I can remember. So it continued like that till my grandpa found that, and he took me from him to a different region, that's central region.
Your grandpa is your father's father?
Yes, please.
He found out that his son was abusing you?
Yes.
He caught him in the act?
Yes, one night.
Did he report to the police?
No.
He took you?
They knew what he could do, so they knew that he could do something like that.
And how do they know he could do that?
There was a history of him raping a young girl. So rape is horrible and all, but that was not his biological child.
Yes. Okay, so your grandfather took you
to central region, and he was on the hunt for me. So he found me again and took me to a different town, and my grandpa was also on the hunt for me to protect me from him. So he found me and brought me back.
Listen, I mean, this is Your grandfather took you, your dad came in and took you back.
Yeah.
And when he took you back, your grandfather came to look for you again.
Yes.
Within the period that he took you back, did he still abuse you?
No.
He didn't.
Yeah.
So he was fine when he took you from your grandfather.
Yes.
And then your grandfather still came back for you.
Yes.
Where did your grandfather take you then?
He took me back to where he came from me, to the central region where I was staying.
Okay.
So he died and my grandmom came to bring me back to Obuasi.
So you went with your paternal grandfather.
Yes.
And then until he died. So after this period, you were fine.
Yes.
So practically, he never had penetrative sex with you.
Not
He
yet.
was just using his hands and his manhood to rob you at all the wrong places.
Yeah.
In all of this, where was your birth mother?
When he took me away from her at the age of 3, I never saw her again till now.
What was her name?
Lamley.
Lamley. Is that all you know?
That's the only name I know, Lamley.
And where does she come from? Do you know where she comes from?
We were all at Aflao.
Aflao. Lamley in Aflao.
Yes.
Let me use this opportunity. If you know any Lamley in Aflao who had a girl child and gave her to her father at the age of 3 years. And the name I prefer to say now is Belle. But her birth name is Akwene. Akwene, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. A-F-F-F. You know of any such? She's been abused by her birth father. She needs to heal. She needs to know her mom and feel like she belongs. She needs to have a life. She needs to heal. This is her story, and this is Confessions on TV3. And this is heartbreaking. This content is real. This is somebody's confession, and this is her life. And we are just not here to give you entertainment. We're here to give information that would help make other parents make the right decisions. I hope another single woman watching us is aware of what this beautiful Belle has gone through and would think twice about leaving her little child with even her biological father alone. Let us go to the studio. My resource person is available. The audience are interested. We are all almost broken right here in the studio, but we will talk about it, and we hope it heals somebody's life and it touches, and we hope we find Akpene's mother in the process. See you in the studio. Now, when your job demands that you keep a beautiful smile on, and yet the confession you just heard ruins all your emotions, it becomes a difficult one. But I'm glad that through and with me, we get to do things that impact positively the lives of Ghanaians. People, you just heard her confession and her plea.
Hi, Miss Nancy.
Hi.
I think this confession is quite deep.
It is.
For Belle to be, I'll call it molested, at 3 years.
3
Kids
years.
around that age are now learning. So she couldn't tell between right or wrong.
No.
So the father should have known better. Fine, you're in the room with your daughter and probably you were feeling things. But the fact that you...
Feeling what? How can you feel things with your daughter
they'll say,
there?
oh, I'm human after all and all that. But the fact that you did it to your daughter is totally wrong. Totally wrong. And then I don't understand why you would also take your daughter from her mother when she's still young.
Birth mother.
She needs all the care and love from the mother. And then you have taken her away. And it's not like you are like fit enough to train her on your own, because just within the span of 3 years and see what you're doing to her. I think he needs some counseling. He needs to work on himself as an individual.
Unfortunately, the man actually died early. Wicked people should live long and suffer, not die early.
Hello, Miss Nancy.
Yes.
I'm Harry.
Hi, Harry.
I don't think that man has any feeling or knows any pain. He's a very wicked man. He needs to be arrested and jailed for 150 years imprisonment. Yes, because he's a very wicked man.
He is dead. And if you are out there and you are not dead, and you have started touching your own daughter, better be dead.
I'm Sewa.
Hi, Sewa.
Hi. My issue has to do with the family. Because if you could listen to the story, the girl was like, the father had a history of rape, but the family couldn't do anything about it. Here is the case of the corner and the daughter. So if the family should have done something when that incident happened, now look at where you've gotten to. The father is not doing it.
No, I mean, you would think that he may have committed a crime. I don't even know how he was still walking about to have lived with his daughter, because naturally he should have been jailed. Why was he walking about?
That's the issue.
Families that would condone, families that would say he's our son, he's heired, but of course we have to be there for him, we have to support him, and we'll go and plead with the family of the victim that yenye fiasem. These are the things that happen out there. Thank you. These suggestions were wonderful, but the man joining me for this conversation is a pastor, he's a lecturer, he is a life coach, and his name is Mr. Ikwe. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome him to Confessions tonight. Aww. Good to see you, sir. Please have a seat. I'm happy to have you right here, and I'm glad that this conversation is about a wicked man, and you, a man, are our counselor for today. So, I mean, beyond, you lecture, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
What do you lecture?
Yeah, I mean theology.
Okay.
And so I'm with Valley University, actually.
Oh, okay. The SDA University,
yes,
right?
Please.
One of the finest in Ghana, isn't it?
One of the finest.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
This woman, let's start from the basics.
Okay.
That decided to give her 3-year-old daughter to a man and has since never seen the child. That woman, what kind of woman is she?
Yeah, before we come to the woman, let me just say that I empathize with Belle. It's a difficult situation.
Absolutely.
And I think anybody here and across the world watching would know that this is a difficult situation. Firstly, I see the issue of eloping rather than just allowing the child to go with the man. The man had an ill motive and snatched the child away from the woman. And if you care to know, in the African setting, women normally don't have that strong voice. And even if they do, they are always silenced, not to speak.
I mean, concerning your child, no matter how weak a woman is, no matter how voiceless she is, when it's got to do with her child that she carried 9 months in her womb, we usually have voices.
Yeah, yes, but then again, we don't have a privy to what the woman actually did. But you see, people, a man who could do what Belle just narrated should tell you the kind of man that he really was. And it's life-threatening, even for the woman, to make any appeal for the child. And that is what I can see. A man who could treat a 3-year-old girl, touching her sex organ, and playing with her in that manner, that man must not be taken as a joke. And I think that is what kept the woman away from the child, actually.
That woman, under what circumstance should a woman let go of her child, male or female, below the ages of 6 and 8 and 10 probably, to a man? Whether the child is living with a man alone or going to live with a man and another family, at what age is it appropriate to let go of your child?
Women actually are the caregivers. Men in a family, they are caretakers. They provide,
They're
but
the
the women,
providers.
yeah, but the women are caregivers.
Caregivers.
So, under no circumstance should a woman allow the child to leave her. However, if it happens that way, that may be job or something, then a woman could be excused. But under no circumstance should a woman leave the child to go and stay with the man.
And even if they have to, at what age is it appropriate that at this age the child is developed mentally, psychologically, emotionally,
All right.
bonded enough with her mother that he or she can go live with their father?
As a matter of fact, the first 7 years of any child's life is very critical and important. Whatever will become in the future depends on the first 7 years. So at least the first 7 years of a child's life, the mother should be able to give proper care. And you know, I don't know what is about a woman's voice. As I sit here right now, I hardly recollect anything my father ever told me. But most of the things I recollect and I apply them in my life today are things my mother told me. Yeah. And so I think the first 7 years, very important for the mother to actually program and condition a child for the future.
That was a very good one. And we know now that for the first 7 years of a child's life, they need the voice of the mother. He says, program them so that they become responsible, relevant people for the family and also for the society. This is Confessions on TV3. And do not go away. I will be right back. You are welcome back. This is Confessions on TV3. My name is Miss Nancy, and Belle is here. She has been molested by her birth father, and we are looking for her birth mother. Belle was left with her dad at the age of 3 years. Until now, she says she is between 24 and 25. She's not sure even of her birth date. And she's looking for her mother, and we will help her here. Yes, my lady.
Yes, Miss Nancy. My name is Patience.
Hi, Patience.
Yeah, hi. I don't really want to ask, but I want to say that the mother in question, there's a reason why most of the times our parents will tell us that when you're going into marriage, first of all, you have to really research. Does it mean that the mother has no connection with the father's relatives? So as a woman, if you're going in to marry, those are some of the little things that you had to do because of these things. And to Belle, I just want to tell her that she should forgive herself, forgive the dad, and move on. Bible says that there is nothing new under the sun. So she should just forgive herself. Remember that it is God that brought her to this world to fulfill a particular purpose. So she should just let it go. Thank God that the father did not penetrate. She should just be grateful for that and move on. Thank you.
Does it even make it better that the intent, he has done it? I mean, he has abused it. He has done it in his mind, in his already. Clark?
Yeah, Miss Nancy.
Okay.
Miss Nancy, my name is James Clark. You can call me Alafia.
Alafia.
Okay, so this is it. Belle, I'll call her a cosmopolitan girl because from the name of the mother, it sounds a bit Gan.
Yes.
And then she was giving birth in Aflao, taken to Obuasi, which is the Ashanti region, and then later into the central region.
All over the place.
So, so sorry for that. And then looking at where the father comes in, I support my sister. You see, we were trained in a certain way. This is an African personalities. We're born in Africa, so we have to think like Africans. This European and Asian and all those kind of lifestyle that we are looking at now, this social media thing, when you meet a boyfriend, girlfriend, and we are dating, you don't even know their house. You don't know their ancestral trace.
Their backgrounds, their characters, and all of those things.
There are families that when they get married, they don't give birth. There are families that when they get married, the men always divorce the women. There are families that the women, when they get married, they fornicate. They go behind the men. So all these things, when you are a young girl, it's an advice to most of our young girls out there and our young guys, and especially our pastors. When people want to get married, don't say because they are church members. You keep things in the church, and then the counseling goes families on, and that's it. Let's get deep down. Let's cross-check the background of each father or each male and female so that we get to know their traits. Now, when it comes to Belle.
Belle.
Today I'm so sorry. Belle.
So am I.
Sorry for the treatment that you've gone through. But you see, I'm also wondering, at the age of 3, at what point did the father penetrate?
She says there was no penetration at the age of 3. In fact, there was penetration with a hand.
Yes,
Let me correct myself.
Because, you see...
There was penetration with a hand.
Because Auntie Nancy...
And when she was about 6 to 7, he was using his manhood to rub all over her body.
That is what I'm saying. Miss Nancy, you see, people will tell you there's no penetration. But once at the age of 3, we were not there. And she was innocent. Once the man has been able to be using the rubbing, whether it is in Kuto or palm kernel or the Vaseline or whatever, at that time, that the man has been able to, rub the thing for some time, till 7 years and above. And now she's, at what age did the father die? If she can tell us.
Belle, at what age did your father die?
At the age of 10.
When you were 10 years?
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, so between 7 and 10, what happened? What I can say is that we are sorry. Let everything go. Psych yourself up. Pray to God to give you a new chapter. And I'm sure you will succeed.
Belle, how has your life been? How has your relationship, your sex life been? You are 24. You are an adult now. Do you have a boyfriend?
No.
Have you ever had one?
I tried. It didn't work.
Have you ever been in love?
No.
So how did you have a boyfriend?
I tried to know them. Maybe my dad was that kind of person, so I decided to find someone who can, maybe not the same as he was, but I couldn't.
So this has affected your sexual life and your love life?
Yes.
And thus you definitely need counseling for, professional counseling for, and that is something that on Confessions we provide. We provide professional counseling, we provide spiritual counseling, whatever it is that you need to heal from these experiences, we will help you, okay?
Okay.
Fathers sleeping with their daughters.
Yeah.
Mothers sleeping with their sons. Is it wise?
It's not wise, and society, in our society, is a taboo, but it's a reality.
Oh, I'm talking about literally sharing a bedroom.
Oh, sharing a bedroom. It is not that wise, but it is something that is real with us. Now, let me make a point here. There is a theory that is called the Oedipus complex. And basically it's from this great psychologist, Sigmund Freud, who said that when you have a male child, the male child develops a kind of relationship with the mother. And to the extent that the child have sexual thoughts about the mother. He extended it that female girls or girls also have the same feeling for their fathers. So I will not say it is natural, but it's a human tendency.
Yeah.
You even be surprised that when any man proposes to a young girl, they try to see if the man has some traces of the father.
The father.
Because that is the man she knew.
And has revered.
Yes, over the years. Okay, so that is so for this man to have that connect with the girl is a human tendency. That is not to make an excuse for it. Now, the other side of it is that you could see that this man was a pedophilia. A pedophilia is somebody who have sexual urge towards children.
Children?
Because you see, the girl said that she ever raped a younger person like that before.
Yes.
So she had that kind of tendency. And so it is not wise to be in the same bed with your children at a certain age because of that relational tendency that already exists between children. So much work has been done. People challenge the view of Sigmund Freud, but to a large extent,
it exists.
I have a daughter, a young girl, and sometimes the way she behaves as if she owns me. Yeah, and sometimes
trying to you know, get in between you and your wife.
Good, between myself and my wife.
And innocently so.
Yes, and because the good thing about it is that then you know that your child is developing that relationship with a man and not woman or male.
Yes.
You know, so that's
to
a
a
good
certain
side.
extent,
That's a
it's
good
also
side of
healthy.
it. But you have to just control yourself so that you can raise your child to become the person you want the child to be.
Children that are left to live with the opposite sex, girls living with their fathers alone, boys living with their mothers alone. Has there ever been an issue of a mother sexually abusing her son? You people, where are you from? Sons of Adam.
You know, we have instances where older women also abuse younger children. I mean, younger boys. It's both is vice versa. It happens. But strongly, I don't see any reason why an older person should do that to a child. Like somebody said earlier, this is molestation. You've molested the child, you've abused the person. To be frank, what Belle has done is the beginning of her healing process because confession is good for the soul.
It is.
The other thing is that what she has done, she must understand. You see, God calls us into the main line, into life stage, and He has ways of using us. I would not say that God caused that to happen. God allowed it because He knew that this lady has the power to sit on national TV, speak to the globe. Because,
travel all the way from Obuasi to Accra.
Yes, there are thousands with this same situation.
Oh, yeah.
But they are not able to open up. So it's a healing for her, and it's also healing for several other people.
You wonder why we take confessions. We take it so that people can heal. We take it so that you at home would know what is happening and would guide you in the choices and decisions of life that you're making. This is Confessions on TV3. My name is Miss Nancy, and tonight we are going through some very emotional roller coasters. I'll be right back. You're welcome back. This is Confessions on TV3. My name is Miss Nancy, and we have a very able counselor with us. And you, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for yourselves. I mean, we all are going through some emotions tonight, but we need to encourage ourselves because other people are watching us on television. So,
thank you so much for yet another opportunity, Miss Nancy and all in the studio. Grateful to come your way again and to our viewers. Today's issue is a very important issue that pertains in most homes and all around the world, and in Ghana people are quiet, but it's happening. First of all, how should we approach this issue? She should first accept the reality of the difficult times she's gone through, the pains and all of that. She should accept that it happened, yes. That is the first thing. Secondly, she has the right to react in anger, in anxiety, in all the things she's going through. It is normal to people who have gone through such. It is not easy. she has to find a place in herself to forgive herself. She's not done anything, but she has to find a place to understand that it is not her doing, it happened. Third, if she can leave the source of the abuse. If she's staying with the father, she will have to find a place to move to, so she will not have to be seeing this father every time, and that will repeat and bring to memory what had happened in the past. The next thing is that definitely she needs professional help. A psychologist will have to take her through, or a trained counselor will have to take her through the process of resuscitating and bringing her back on track. And it is not a 10 minutes, 15 minutes thing. She has to submit herself to the process, and it will take time. She will go through processes, sessions, and activities that will help her. Above all, if there's opportunity to join groups, people who have gone through traumatic experience, also she can join them as they share the experience and how they have overcome it. It will help her. If she is a Christian maybe, or belongs to a religious denomination, she can get involved in such religious things that will help her overcome. Above all, once we are alive, there is hope. And if she can get to this stage and have the right perspective to life, she can overcome all the fears and all the challenges. Yes, we use this opportunity to appeal to fathers, to people who are abusing people. Your actions will have an eternal effect on the child you are abusing. Your action will have a lasting effect on the woman you are hurting. Your words, your action, and whatever you're doing. So please be mindful out there. Whatever you are doing, you are destroying life, and you are destroying somebody's life. So this is our sister. There is hope for you. Seek help. Talk to a professional counselor. Talk to a psychologist who will take you through healing, who will take you through a process that will resuscitate you, bring you on track, help you regain yourself, forgive yourself, leave the source of the problem, and then try to understand that yes, it happened. It had happened, but you have to move on. You have to find yourself again. You are strong. You have innately the ability to get to the level that God have destined you to be. And speaking to you as a pastor, I will say that we are not defined by our past, but we are defined by our future. In Akan, there's a thing they say that there's enough, there's big ahead, there are great opportunities ahead. So my sister, forgive yourself, put yourself together, seek professional help, move forward. Thank you, Miss Nancy. God bless us all.
Let us look at how we can help Belle. I mean, you, Clark, you had a contribution?
There are two things I want to say here. Let's look at the father. He's now gone. He's passed. But another advice to the male fathers out there. Anyone who abuses a daughter or someone's daughter or a child, when you do that, in Akan, they say, so to a bobo a banya, a samba also. When people are dying early, people don't even look at the wrongs they've done in the past. Teachers are doing it to our sisters and our siblings. Pastors are doing it to some of the congregation members. Some of our own brothers within our own household are doing it to our sisters. And some of the ladies too are taking advantage of the young boys. When we go to school, some of our female teachers are taking advantage of some of the young boys. Please, let's look into the future. Let's think positive. Let's change from our wrongdoings so that we can live long.
Thank you.
That is one. The last one is that our counselor said something which I want to relate it to our daily lives. In Ghana, our government should help so that the country can grow faster. Because most of our parents, we live in single room self-contained. And there's only a bed sheet that separates the youth, the young boys, and the young girls from the father and the mother.
It used to be called partitioning or curtains. Yeah.
You see, when you are in the house, especially when you live in compound houses, you see other parents saying, "Shane langa langa no." When the boys are walking around empty, they are not wearing pants and stuff.
Yeah.
They say, "Shane langa langa no." That is, the counselor says something which is very important. And also the young girls, when they are walking throughout the houses and stuff, you see other fathers to say, "Hey, akwada idea, akwada idea." When these things are happening, the parents should take note of them and find a way to curb it.
Thank you.
So that
Thank you
we
very
can
much,
grow
Clark.
A good nation.
You
Thank
have a contribution, and then I would ask you, I see a lot of young people here in the studio. Parents that would defend their children would not have them bear the consequences of their actions. Your child molests, abuses, physically abuse, emotional abuse people, and instead of you allowing the laws to deal with them, you go and you beg that they should be spared. And they become a liability in the society.
Actually, it's a human behavior that if you see your child being locked up or whatever, it's painful. Now, this is the point. We must understand that every choice that we make is embedded with consequences.
Yes.
And so, if the consequence of the person's action would land the person in the hands of the police, so be it. Now, sometimes also, when you talk this way, people think that you are hard, you are difficult, and whatever. You see, forgiveness is good, but forgiveness does not necessarily take away consequences.
Yes.
So, the same way that somebody does something, and the consequence is to get a certain disease.
The family should forgive,
yes,
but allow the law to deal with them.
To deal with the person. Because that's the consequences of the action.
If, for instance, you are a young lady and you decide to have unprotected sex,
yes,
when you are ovulating and you are done with having the sex and you go to God and you say, "God, I'm sorry for having premarital sex."
He would forgive you.
He would forgive you, but you will get pregnant.
Yes.
And that is what, as parents, we need to love ourselves, love our children, and love the society enough to let our children bear the consequences of their actions.
Sure.
And we'd have a better society, wouldn't we?
Yeah, we will.
Belle.
Yes, Miss Nice.
Have you been helped with this conversation?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Belle. Lamle, your father was a fetish priest. If there is a fetish priest that is alive that is supposed to have an almost 25-year-old granddaughter who was left with her dad passed on. This young lady has been through a lot, physically and emotionally. She needs to know that she has people. She needs to return to her family. She wants to know where her mother, Lamle, is. She's giving out all the information she can recall as a child. Let us help find her. This is Confessions on TV3. Before I wrap up, I'm sure that Counselor has his last words and we'll be out of here.
All right. I want to encourage Belle to continue with the process that she has begun, because whatever it is, there's a possibility of change. Now, one, she should not be a prisoner of the past. She should be a product of it. And I think that is what she has begun doing. The second thing is that whatever happens to us, we have the opportunity to break out of it, to become a better person.
Yes.
Or to hold ourselves in for the thing to break us and destroy us. The position she holds now, I believe, is positive.
Yes.
She's optimistic that she's getting out of this to become a brand that would even tell the world about this pedophilia and other things that are actually harming us backdoor in society that we are not aware. I encourage her to move in this direction, and then it will be well with her. Now, we can mend things. We can amend laws. These ones they don't have willpower to choose. Humans have willpower to. That is why human reconstruction is very difficult. Human reconstruction is very difficult. But that is not to say that it is not possible.
It is.
It is possible. I want her to look at the word impossible and put an apostrophe between the I and M and say, I'm possible. I'm possible. And we can.
Thank you. Belle is possible. She can become a great woman, a loving mother, a wonderful wife, if she so wishes. She can decide to let her be a product of the frustrations and the struggles of her childhood, or she can decide to be a brand for women that have risen above all of these struggles. Thank you so much for watching tonight. If you have any information about Belle's mother, Lamle, from Aflao, please reach out to TV3 on any of the numbers that are scrolling under the screen, and we will try to reunite Belle and her mother. Thank you for watching. My name is Miss Nancy, and it's been another wonderful edition of Confessions.